I knew that bushmasters favored undisturbed lowland rainforest, and so the area I was in, close to the Madre de Dios River, was perfect. And I also knew that bushmasters like to hide amongst the tangled roots of trees, where they may remain coiled for weeks on end, waiting for prey. The problem was, there weren't many bushmasters, but there were a lot of trees. I'd heard the sound of trees falling in the distance, and I'd narrowly escaped being hit by a branch. But I'd never been this close to a falling tree, and I'd never seen one this size come down. The tree looks healthy enough on the outside, but could easily be diseased within. Or maybe it's been weakened by termites. Any large tree is vulnerable, and so is anyone beneath it. Holy mackerel. Somewhere beneath all that devastation is my camp. Oh man, just look at the destruction over here. Unbelievable. Incredible force that's been unleashed here. And I might just have found my kitchen. There's something I recognize. Wow. Oh man, can you believe it? Well, it doesn't look like I'm going to be cooking with this stuff too much anymore. Unbelievable what happened here. Thank goodness I was just out of range of that. Wow, just look at this tree, the size of this tree. It's almost impossible to believe. I mean, this tree must be hundreds and hundreds of years old. Hundreds of tons of power coming down, hitting this forest. It like breaks my heart, you know, it's terrible that this old tree has fallen down. But a person must not forget this is part of nature. Nature's perfect. Nature makes a complete circle. This is just a case of out with the old, in with the new. This giant tree has come down. When it came down, it's pulled down all these other branches with it. It's made a massive gap up here in the top of the forest. This allows light to come through now, and all these smaller trees around here, everything now gets this light, and immediately they start growing. And in a couple of weeks, you won't believe it, this is all overgrown again. It's incredible. You probably won't be able to find the logs. It's all part of nature. It's not death. This is actually, in a weird sort of way, it's life again. It's regeneration, which is what nature's all about. It's absolutely fantastic. I mustn't feel sad. I must actually feel quite pleased about it. Wow, so much stuff there. I can't believe it. I'm so close. There's something over there. Hang on. Oh, what is this guy? What have I got here? Oh, I've got it. Oh, man. Yeah, I know what this is. It's a monkey lizard. And in the area we are now particularly, I would imagine what they would call a southern monkey lizard. This is a very unusual lizard, and anybody who knows lizards will see immediately there's three different aspects here. I mean, it could be, look at this long tail. That reminds you immediately of the prehensile tail of a chameleon. And if you look at the mouth, and I actually bring my fingers up here, oh, he opens his mouth just like a chameleon does and bites on and holds. Chameleons are typical of that. They got good teeth and they hang on. Look at him hanging on. He says, I'm furious, I'm going to bite you. So you might think, oh, this is some kind of a chameleon. Come on, let go now. And then if you look along the full length of the body, and imagine this lizard was running up a tree from a distance, and you just saw this long green slender shape going up, you might think it's a green iguana. And then again, if he'll just let go, you can let go. Thank you. It's such a cute little thing. If you look underneath and you look at the shape of the head, and you've got the dewlap over here, this is typical of the anole lizards that you get all over the Americas. So it's like three lizards built into one. Unbelievable. And like chameleons, they can also change color. This is the normal color. Walking around in the forest, well blended in, this is the color you should be. But after coming out of sleep or being in a dark hole somewhere, you might be a very brown color. So that can be a bit confusing. Just as it is here, this situation here is perfect for him. There's going to be ants and moths and other little insects all walking around here from this tree crash. And he's obviously going to feed on those, no problem at all. Okay, so unbelievable lizard. Look at that, like a little chameleon. See how he moves very slowly. He's such a gorgeous boy. He's absolutely gorgeous, isn't he? He's like a little dinosaur. Fantastic, very rare animal, very unusual thing to find. Okay, let me take him off. Okay, we're going to put you away. We're going to put you away. He had a good bite at me there, so now I'll put him back on the branch here. There we go, up you go, hold tight, there we go. It was proving much harder than I'd expected to find a bushmaster,
and I began to think about what I would do if I couldn't find one. But then something happened that was to change everything, and to change it in a way that I could never have imagined. For days I'd been looking for the Bushmaster without success. But the jungle is full of surprises, and now suddenly the tables were turned. Something had come looking for me.
I'm a bit nervous about this. This is the tapir, and this is the biggest land mammal they've got in South America. This actually looks like a young one. They get a lot bigger than this, but they shouldn't be coming close to me like this. I'm a bit nervous. An animal like this is very powerful, pretty dangerous animal if you get on the wrong side of it. Even if she doesn't bite you, and they can give a terrible bite, they've got this pure brute strength that could take you and knock you over, and they've got toes that have got big nails on. And that's something that can really rasp you. And I think it is a young one, but I'm a bit worried because Mama could be anywhere around here. I rather would not take my chances. Now the thing is, the tapirs have got a bad reputation for charging suddenly. And that's why I also don't trust this. She might be warming up, and she's in the water and she might charge. And they're fantastic swimmers. They can even swim underwater at great speed. They're actually perfectly designed for jungle living. These animals have been like this, roughly in the same shape for about 20 million years or more. Incredibly designed, long pointy snout, thick hard body. These guys have got a coat like steel, and they've got very fine hair that doesn't tangle in the jungle. It's well designed for jungle living. You look at the prehensile nose these guys have got. They've got an actual prehensile nose, almost looks like a small elephant, the beginnings of an elephant. But in actual fact, as far as I know, this animal is more closely related to rhinoceros than any other animal. Oh yeah, it comes again. I just want to avoid being too close because I just don't know what he's actually on about. You know, I'm used to tackling with snakes. Give me any kind of venomous snake, but I've never done this, and you can't pick up a tapir and hold it in your hand. He seems to be settling down a bit though.
I couldn't believe that a wild tapir would come so close without attacking me. Maybe this tapir wasn't wild. Maybe it had come into contact with the Indian tribes that still live in this jungle.
Oh, she comes again. Gosh, I'm getting tired. I'm not sure if this is a game or not. Are you good? Are you? It's almost as if she's curious about me, but not quite sure what to do with me. And I'm not quite sure either, because this is one heck of a powerful animal. And you get your whole weight on top of me. But look at this, it's like she wants to know what I am. Hey? Yeah. Isn't that fantastic? This is a mind-blowing experience, hey? This animal has got to have had some communication with people before, it has to.
I knew there were tribes of Machigenga Indians living in the rainforest, and although I'd deliberately chosen an area free of any sign of human disturbance, maybe it wasn't free of humans. How could I have spent so many days in the jungle without realizing that I wasn't alone, unaware that there was a small settlement less than half a mile from my camp? The Machigenga Indians, an ancient and gentle tribe who are thought to have lived in the area for almost 1,000 years, invited me to join them in one of their traditional pastimes. My suspicions about the surprisingly friendly tapir were confirmed. It was a village pet.
I'm quite fortunate to have ended up here with these people, the Machigenga. And it's amazing being at this village. I'm seeing stuff. I mean, this is quite mind-blowing, you know. I consider myself a resourceful person, and I spend weeks in jungles like this. But I've got everything with me. I've got every kind of bit of tinned food and bottle stuff and plastic stuff you can think of. These people appear on the surface to have absolutely nothing. But in actual fact, they get everything they want from the forest. It's amazing. I look at this forest, I see green walls. They walk through this forest, they see supermarket. They turn over a leaf, next thing it's in water and it's turned into some sort of a tea. Or pick up a log or something and there's food underneath. I walk right past it. It's quite fantastic. You know, I'm quite impressed.
I wanted to find out what the Machigenga thought about snakes and whether they might be able to help me find a Bushmaster.
I was trying to communicate. It's very difficult because obviously I can't speak their language, and one or two of them have obviously had contact with civilization, and we together with a bit of sign language, we're getting a few messages across. They're not too keen on snakes. That's for sure. And from what I can make out, according to their legends and so on, all snakes, venomous or not venomous, all snakes are considered dangerous. In this tropical jungle, endless miles from anywhere, if these guys come across a snake, if it is a venomous snake and they do get bitten, I mean, there's no way he can survive. There's nowhere to go. You know, it takes days to get out of this forest to get to any sort of civilization. There's no anti-snake bite serum here. So you can understand how they have a great fear of snakes.
The snakes didn't scare me, but I wasn't so sure about dessert.
Thank you. Gracias. Oh, this is... Oh. Okay. I must have more of that.
The village elders told me the story of the spirit hunter, who the Machigenga believe lives in the jungle and hunts people with a bow that fires snakes instead of arrows. They also told me that the next day they would take me to a place where they'd seen some large snakes. Was this the home of their spirit hunter? Was this where I would at last find the Bushmaster? I'd come to Peru to search for the Bushmaster, a snake I'd always dreamed of seeing in the wild, but could find no signs of one. Did the Machigenga hold the key to finding this elusive snake, or would I go home empty-handed? For hours we walked in silence. I was no longer sure where I was or where we were heading. Would we ever find the snake I'd come all this way to see?
Hang on, just whoa. Whoa.
This was it. This was what I'd been looking for. The Bushmaster.
I've got him. I've actually got him. Oh man, just look at this guy. Look at him standing ready to strike. There we go. Look at the size of the snake. This is fantastic. I mean, this is something I've never touched before. And it is, after all, the biggest venomous snake in the Western Hemisphere. God, I've got to be so careful with this guy. They got a tremendous strike. Let me get him up, just so we can have a good look at him first. He keeps pulling off the tongs. He's very wise. I've got to be very careful. These snakes can strike. He could strike from the ground higher than my crotch. He could strike right up into my stomach. Let me see if I can get him stretched out. He must be at least 6 or 7 foot long. Wow. And he's heavy. Man, you know, a snake this big has got to be a dozen years or more old. And you usually think that a snake that old might already be faded in color. But in actual fact, this guy is beautifully marked, bright. Oh, he's getting a bit... He's not too aggro, but he's looking at me. He's not too sure. Look at that. Can you see the size of that? What a snake. I'm a bit nervous. His head is very close to my hand, and he's turning towards me again. I've got to be very careful. These snakes are tremendous strikers. Unbelievable snake. The most feared snake in all of Latin America. Oh, man. And at the moment, he seems well behaved, but you've got to be very, very careful, because a guy like this can just suddenly let go because he's still sussing out what's going on. He's not sure what's happened. Oh. One of the things you notice immediately about a snake like this is how high the backbone is. It has a very almost triangular shaped body with the backbone being very high, a raised sort of ridge. I've got to get my camera ready because I'd like to do some stuff with this. Okay. Uh-oh, I haven't got my tongs and he's looking right at me. This is not a position you want to be in with a snake that can strike at this distance. I mean, this is a pit viper and he's got enormous pits. If you look very carefully, just as he's posed between the eye and the nose, that is his heat receptors. With that, he can detect exactly where I am. If this guy strikes out and he strikes at me, he won't miss. He'll hit me dead on, closest part of my body. Anything warm. Let me take my first shot. I'm taking a far away one because I'm a bit nervous. That's it. Just keep him there. He looks like he's okay. Please don't strike at me from there. Okay, another shot. Look at these scales. Can you get a close look at these scales while he's in such a still position? These scales are like beads. Texture, if you hold them, you actually grip on them. Listen to that tail rattling. See the tail? Watch the tail action. Rattling on that leaf there. These guys sometimes are called mute rattlesnake. Silent rattlesnake. I'm so nervous around this guy. I just want to let him take his own time. His tail was going off there, so he is a little bit angry. These snakes are reputed to come towards light. And when campers or bush people or natives or Indians in the jungle are actually making campfires while they're on their hunts and such like, they actually extinguish the fire as quickly as they can afterwards for fear of having one of these snakes possibly approach the fire. It's so similar to a story they have in Africa about rhinos coming to fires. See how that tongue is flickering? Can you actually see that tongue? It's got a pink tongue. There we go. Look at the tongue flickering out and how wide that fork is because he's such a big snake. That's beautiful. I want to show the tummy of this guy. He's got the most incredibly gorgeous, creamy stomach with massive scales going across the body. Look at that. Isn't that fabulous? This is the most beautiful snake, the most beautiful snake to touch. Now, these snakes can strike tremendously quickly. Potentially, this is the most dangerous snake in the whole Western Hemisphere. It has an incredible strike, an incredible range, and enormous fangs. Like all the vipers, it has hinged fangs which shoot out, bite, and pull back. Let me get another picture really close. Okay, good. I can't read this snake. He just looks. It's almost as if they have no expression at all. He just stands there. So I don't know if he's really mad and he's just keeping quiet and he's going to let me have it, or if he's really not too worried and he just wants to get me out the way. Just got to be very wary, very wary. I'm really nervous about snake. I haven't for a long time been this nervous about working with a snake. Bushmaster is such a legendary snake. So many stories about them. The fact that I've actually found one and such a big one is just to me absolutely incredible. I mean, if I was bitten by a snake like this, yeah, I'm hundreds and hundreds of kilometers from any medical attention. It would not be a good idea. It's not something that must happen. You cannot survive a bite like this way out here. I've got to be extra careful with this guy. He's so big. Can you come and pose for me up here? In fact, I wouldn't mind if he draped over here. That would be a great picture. Maybe I can try that. Let's see. I'll bring him around. That's always a dangerous thing, trying to position a snake for a decent photograph, but it means that you have to relax your guard. I'd like to bring his head over this way. Oh, he's going to climb up. I'm going to get it. Didn't have my flash there. End of film. I've run out of film. Bring him back quickly. Oh man, God, I'm so nervous. I'm sweating so much. I'm just going to put him here. I'm going to have to hang on to him a bit. If he goes around that log, I'm going to put him between my legs and just hold on to him quickly while I unload this. It's alright, he's going the other way as long as he's not coming towards me. Come on, get in there. Alright, he's going to make a break for it, but I've got him. There we go, I'm loaded. I'm sweating like a pig here. Okay, here he comes. Let me get on the log. This is great. That's what I want. I'm taking a little bit of a chance because but he doesn't show any anger at the moment. Okay. Now the venom of these snakes is incredibly toxic. Okay, something that causes massive necrosis and terrible damage to the limb, apart from death, which will occur later. Okay, I'm going to try a few more shots on this log before I leave the snake. Oh, look at this climb. If I can get a climb, that would be even great. See how she gets just get her head over the edge and she'll pull herself over. Actually sliding down. There's a shot. Isn't this incredible? That's fantastic. It's coming right towards me. And I got it. Oh, it's curling up a little bit. Come on. Oh, I better just keep still. Rather than she's going to strike at me. Don't know. Oh, she's coming forward and she's curling up. I don't like this. I've got to get the shot. Come on. Okay. A bit worried about the flash. See, look how she's curling up. Isn't that fantastic? Perfect pose. What a snake. Absolutely incredible. Okay. Well, so far I haven't attracted one strike, which is rather better for me. I don't want to take any more chances than I need to. So I'm going to tuck her away almost exactly where I found her and go and have a look what my photos look like. As soon as I can develop this film, wow, look at this snake. I'm gonna just tuck her away right over here. Look at this. Off you go, girl. There we go. There we go. Off she goes in her own time. Wow, what a snake. What an experience. I was so excited about that. Hey, where's everybody gone? Guys? Guys?
This really had been an incredible adventure. I'd come to Peru to find and photograph the Bushmaster, that rarest of snakes. And although there were times when I thought I wouldn't succeed, eventually, with the help of the Machigenga Indians, I'd done it. I just hope those photographs come out all right.